Hello everyone and welcome to CSCI 301. Today we will cover the portal and I will start out by showing you how to log in. This is the learn screen. You have username and password. Click on sign in and you may notice that it may look a little different than what you're used to because we are now on Blackboard Ultra rather than Blackboard. It looks a little different. To paraphrase every recorded message you heard, listen carefully, your options may have changed. Okay, to run the course, you have these nice little tiles here. You pick the one that corresponds to this course. Survey of scripting languages. You open it up, and here we go. Okay, and I'm going to pop into the student preview. I can also do this when you're having trouble seeing something in the course, and this helps me because then I see what you see. Okay. Okay, very quickly across the top, you got the content. We'll get to that in a minute. Got a calendar, which I don't really use. Got discussions, which you'll have one to introduce yourself. That will be one of the graded items for the first week. You got a grade book when the grades start coming in. And then you have messages where you can send me a message through the system. And I'll go ahead and tell you while I'm at it. Make sure you hit the checkbox. Okay, what checkbox am I talking about? Okay, when it says we'll receive an email but can't reply till you open the course. Okay, right now it automatically will send an email copy. When the course actually starts, there will be a little checkbox for the to send an email copy. Make sure you hit that checkbox. That way I get a copy of an email and I don't have to wait till I open up the portal to see your message. Okay, going back to content. Okay, you see these little circles here? Okay, you notice I click on that, nothing happens. Well, what has to happen is as I review an item, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this in a little bit. You notice when I come out, you get this half moon. And then it invites you to mark it as complete. This half moon means you've opened it. This means you're complete. That means I'm done with it. And I can also see where you've done this. So if you email me a question or something, I will look to see what you have reviewed. And if you've missed the item that had it, the information, I can go ahead and tell you what you need to look at. Now, I will go ahead and tell you that I'm expecting you to look at all the videos and all the items that I don't mark as optional. But I'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, this is progress tracking. Okay, this first folder is the Start Here folder. This is something that every course should may have that you take that's in the Blackboard Ultra. And it has the information for CSU student. There's a few videos. I recommend you watch all the videos in here. It's less than 10 minutes total. There's 6 of them. That shows you how to get around in Blackboard Ultra. Now this Blackboard Help for Students, this is a general how to do things. Now if you're stuck on something, if you need tech support, this this link opens up. This is for Charleston Southern University. This is our IT people that will see this. This is how to fill out a help ticket with them. Okay, accessibility and privacy. Okay, it shows how we're compliant with it. Most of you do not care. If you do, we can sit there, we can talk about it. Okay, student handbook. Okay, the student handbook, I recommend you read through it at least once to make sure you understand the policies, because these are policies that are not important until they are important and become very important. They're not important until there's a problem, then they become very important. Okay, CSU Writing Center, when I saw this, my first reaction was, where was this when I was coming through school? You can actually get a writer one-on-one, an English major, that can help you out with your assignments. Now, you do have Hang on, I'm catching up my notes. You do have an ethics paper. I would recommend you take that ethics paper down here and let them look at it. They're going to ask you what the type of paper is, and they're going to say, what is the odds? This is a formal paper, and this would be something that you would route through your supervisory chain at work. It's like we're going up to corporate with this. Okay, the Learning Center. This is basically for tutoring for all subjects. I also will show you a folder that will be tutoring for particularly for this course. Okay, library is a library that, people keep on saying they're obsolete, but they keep on coming up with more useful stuff that they do. So, you know, libraries are more than just a collection of books. Okay, student community. This basically is your how-to, your resource available, your on-site resource available for CSU. Okay, that is the Start Here folder. Now there's a course information folder that is particular for this course. First, you got my information. I tell people that I'm not two-faced because if I had another face, I'd use it. That's the only one I got. Sorry about that. Best way to get a hold of me is my email. My office hours are listed here. Now, in general, if you walk by my room and the door is open, that means the door is open. Knock and come on in. We can talk. Okay, course syllabus. Pretty detailed layout of what happens during the course. There's also some important policies. These are largely extracts of CSU policies. Notice the COVID consideration that COVID is no longer considered a excused absence. Excused absences are not a big deal in this course because I do not follow the FA policy for this course, fail due to absence, because this is a 300 level course. Okay, how this course works. Okay, this is supposed to be a flipped classroom. I've had enough of trying to lecture people for a long time, and then they're basically waiting for the lectures so they can start on their homework. I've recorded all the lectures so that you can listen to them. Now, what you gain from in the classroom is you have that time that I can help you one-on-one with your particular assignment. It's based by the week, so each week here are the instructions for what to do. I do allow rework that you can resubmit assignments for a higher grade, and you can read for that. Class blast, sometimes I put something out, you're not sure how it applies to you. Maybe it doesn't, and there's details on that. Okay, expectation, this is a video. These are the important expectations for this class, and I would ask that you look at this and you read and heed. Creating a personal access token, you will need that for your first lab because that's how you turn your lab in. Just deep enough, this is my philosophy on how to study a language when you need to be able to do just enough of it to fix it. Now, up to this point, you've learned languages to not only learn the language itself, but to learn the language, how to learn a language from the computer science standpoint. This is how you could abbreviate that learning process so you can get something fixed because everybody's waiting on you. What is a professional? You'll hear professional bandied back and forth throughout your career. This is my 2 cents worth on what a professional is. The good news is that by and large, most of you have acted very professionally, and I treat you as such. Okay, computer lab schedule is optional. It means I don't think you need to look at this unless you need to. If your computer breaks or your computer can't support the software that for this class, you'll need to use a computer lab, and there's the schedules about when they're open. Packet of clones, usually about 3 or 4 people out of the class end up cloning the repository back in the repository accidentally, so they end up with a clone of a clone. This is how to clean that up. JDE blank, this is basically the outline I would use to learn a new language well enough to get my way around it. Okay, tutoring available. Here's the point of contact information for tutors that are specifically available for CSCI 301. Okay, so that is the course information. You need to refer back to that as necessary throughout the course. Now you notice I try to click on this to say that I've looked at all this at once. It won't let me do it. I have to do those by the eaches. For this course, I'm not requiring you to check off as you go through. Okay, for the first week, which is the most complicated week, you have the introduction, which tells you overall the activities and the objectives. Okay, you have an introduction that introduces you to me. I talked about me. I try not to do too much about that. And I also talk about the course itself. Okay, you got a 1.3a and a 1.3b here because there's two possibilities. This is how you set up your scripting machine. One, you can have Windows subsystem of Linux. This will put a Linux box on your Windows machine. VirtualBox will be any other machine you have, or if you don't want to mess with WSL. VirtualBox is a little more flexible. WSL is a little simpler. Take your pick. Okay, Git and GitHub, you'll be required to have a Git repository and have a GitHub account. This is instructions on how to do this. I may go back through and I may adapt this instruction because it works slightly different with WSL and VirtualBox, but for now, this is what we got. Okay, do this week. Let's cut to the chase. Two things you need to do is introduce yourself. And I do this not only so I know a little bit about you, but this is becoming more and more important now because I did I did an online interview for this class. It wasn't a video interview, but I got on Zoom with the president and with the director of academic affairs. Okay, so being able to be comfortable with the camera is more and more important these days. Lab 1 is basically a lab. You almost literally do a hello world. We'll take a look at it. Okay, you can also download it if you're more comfortable printing it out. Okay, what happened, and one of the things about this is you see where it says get clone, and we have this. Okay, CSCI 301 Spring 2022, you need to say 2023 here. You need to go to Spring 2023 here, and I'll try to fix this before we start, but that's the idea. This is supposed to be whatever the last one is. The last one being the last one of my official repositories. What you're doing is you're cloning my repository for your own code. And what happens is you will sit there and you will work with the code that I provide you. You will make your own code. You make a hello world called a hello.sh. You push it up to your GitHub, and if everything works well, I get a notification of it. I can go in and grade it. Now, if I go in and grade something in GitHub, you don't have to necessarily submit anything here. There will be some assignments that there will be some things I require for you to submit in here, and I'll say submit in the assignment folder. So when it comes to a new assignment, you need to understand what you need to submit to this folder and what you need to submit to GitHub. Okay, that gets you through the first week and that gets you through the intersections. I hope this has helped. If you got questions, please hit me up in an email. Thank you.